You hear a knock at the door. A friend smiles, a cousin waves, a neighbor asks in a soft voice, "Can I borrow it for just a little while?" It sounds harmless. It feels small. A car for one day, a tool for 1 hour, some money until next month. You want to be kind. You want to be helpful. You want to feel like a good person. But what if that simple yes is not as simple as it looks? What if some things do not leave your house alone? What if they carry your rhythm, your focus, your order, your momentum, and when they return, they bring back confusion, pressure, delay, and the weight of someone else's struggle? Stay with me, because this is where most people lose power without noticing it. They do not lose it in one big disaster. They lose it in quiet leaks, in borrowed keys, in borrowed tools, in borrowed cash, in little moments of guilt, pressure, and false kindness that slowly scatter the force of their life. And once you understand this, you will never look at lending the same way again, because generosity is holy, yes, but careless access is costly, very costly. And if you keep letting the wrong hands touch the vessels of your life, do not be shocked when your peace feels weaker, your mind feels cloudy, and your wealth starts moving like water through cracked stone. Everything you use again and again starts carrying your imprint. Your car, your laptop, your work tools. Even the small objects you touch every day begin to feel familiar because they are tied to your pace, your habits, your focus, and your effort. They are not alive in the ordinary sense, but they become part of your environment, part of your rhythm, part of the way your life moves. That is why your own pen feels better than another pen. Your own car feels different from any rental. Your own tools seem to answer your hand with less resistance. There is history in them. There is memory in them. There is repetition. And repetition creates a kind of field. So when someone borrows an object that lives close to your daily momentum, they do not only use the thing, they leave something on it. Their pressure, their delay, their confusion, their lack of care, their emotional weather. Then the object comes back and sits again inside your space, now mixed with another person's pattern. Some people laugh at this idea, but they feel it all the time. Have you ever gotten something back and thought, "This feels different now"? Have you ever sat in your own car after someone else drove it and felt like the air had changed? Have you ever opened your laptop after someone used it and felt a strange heaviness before you even started working? That is not always imagination. Sometimes it is your mind noticing disturbance before your mouth has words for it. And that is why boundaries around borrowing matter more than most people think. The first thing you should guard with great care is your vehicle. A vehicle is not just metal, wheels, and gas. It is movement. It is direction. It carries you from where you are to where you are trying to go. It holds your private thoughts, your silent prayers, your plans, your stress, your recovery, your ambition, your late-night decisions, your early morning discipline. Many people do their deepest thinking in the car. Many of their most important phone calls happen there. It becomes a moving chamber of personal energy. So when you hand those keys to someone who is stuck, careless, reckless, lost, or constantly drowning in disorder, you are allowing their pattern to sit in the seat where your own direction usually lives. That matters. It matters more than people admit. A person who is always late, always broke, always panicked, always looking for a shortcut, does not only drive the car, they stamp the atmosphere with their state. Their restlessness touches the wheel. Their chaos fills the cabin. Their anxious pace writes itself into the ride. And when you take the vehicle back, you may notice something odd. It feels off. The mood feels wrong. The drive feels heavier. Your focus is not as clean. Some people then go on to make strange mistakes, miss timing, feel tired, or move through the week with unusual friction. Listen carefully. That does not mean you stop helping people. It means you stop giving away the moving vessel of your own direction. If someone needs transport, help them find a ride. Help them pay for one if you truly want to bless them. But think twice before giving them the keys to your path. And here is the deeper part. The driver's seat is symbolic. People say, "I want to be in the driver's seat of my life," because somewhere inside they understand that direction is sacred. When you let the wrong person sit there even for a short time, you're making a quiet agreement with disorder. You are saying this space is open. This authority is flexible. This path can be touched by anyone who asks, but it should not be that open. Your life needs gates. Your progress needs protection. Your direction needs dignity. A person who cannot steer their own life well should not be practicing on the vessel that carries yours. That may sound strong, but strong is sometimes exactly what wisdom sounds like. And let me add this because this part matters. Many people do not lend out their car because they trust the borrower. They lend it because they do not want to feel uncomfortable saying no. That is not generosity. That is weak boundaries dressed as kindness. Real kindness does not require self-betrayal. Real care does not demand foolish access. You can be warm and still be wise. You can be helpful and still be protected. You can love people without handing them the seat of your motion. If this is hitting you hard, good. It means you are seeing how many small favors were never small. Keep listening. The next one may be even more important, especially if your work, your calling, or your income depends on what your hands use every day. The second thing you should be very careful about is your tools of trade. Your laptop, your phone, your camera, your hammer, your knives, your machine, your desk setup, your instruments. Whatever you use to turn skill into value, thought into action, and action into income must be treated with respect. These are not random objects. These are bridges between your mind and your results. Over time, they adapt to your way of working. Your hands know them. Your timing fits them. Your instincts sharpen through them. That is why serious people often become protective over their tools, not because they are selfish, but because they understand that a professional instrument is part of a professional flow. When someone else borrows those tools, especially someone who is lazy, unfocused, resentful, careless, or always behind, they do not use them with the same rhythm. They touch your bridge with broken energy. They bring frustration into the object. They press their confusion into the very thing that usually helps you think clearly and produce well. Then the tool returns and suddenly the work feels slower. The focus feels blunt. The excitement feels flat. The process feels heavier than before. You start saying strange things like, "I don't know, I just haven't been myself lately." But maybe part of the problem is that you keep letting other people's unfinished energy sit on the very objects you use to build your future. Stay with me here, because this is where many talented people weaken their own edge. They are too casual with the instruments that feed their family. They lend out the bridge, then wonder why the current is weaker when they need it most. A serious builder protects the hammer. A serious writer protects the laptop. A serious designer protects the tablet. A serious cook protects the knife. A serious person knows that tools absorb rhythm. They hold memory. They train the hand. And when you break that bond too often, you dull something invisible but real. If someone needs a tool, there are better options. Show them where to buy one. Rent one for them. Gift them a basic version if you feel moved to bless them. But do not automatically hand over the exact object through which your own excellence moves into the world. That is not pride. That is stewardship. It is respect for the channel through which your life is built. And do not miss this. The people who become highly effective in any field are rarely casual with their gear. They clean it, protect it, store it with care. They do not pass it around just to appear easygoing. They know that repeated misuse, even subtle misuse, chips away at sharpness. It affects performance. It affects mood. It affects confidence. One of the quiet ways life becomes difficult is when the things that support your calling stop feeling clean, not broken, just off, a little flat, a little dull, a little resistant. That is how decline often begins, not with one giant collapse, but with a series of small permissions given to the wrong people until your own system no longer feels like your own. If you want strong output, guard the instruments that make it possible. The third thing is the one that ruins the most peace, breaks the most trust, and creates the longest shadow: money. This is where many people confuse love with rescue and generosity with entanglement. Someone you know is in trouble. They ask for a loan. They promise they will pay it back. They sound sincere. You have the money. You feel pressure. You do not want to look cold, so you lend it. And from that moment, the relationship changes. It may not change right away on the surface, but it changes underneath. They no longer see you the same. You no longer see them the same. Every message has tension in it. Every delay has weight in it. Every excuse has heat in it. And the money, even before it comes back or fails to come back, starts carrying emotional pressure. Lending money to friends and family often creates an invisible chain. One person feels guilty, one feels ignored, one feels owed, one feels used, one begins to resent the other. Sometimes both do. Then the whole relationship becomes shaped by what is unpaid. That is why so many people say lending money costs them more than the money itself. It costs them peace. It costs them closeness. It costs them trust. And there is something even deeper. When your money is tied up in another person's confusion, delay, excuses, bad decisions, or failing habits, your spirit feels that drag. Part of your energy stays tied to their storm. You think the problem is only financial, but no, it is emotional, mental, relational, even spiritual. Your money should move with intention, not with pressure and guilt. This is why a wiser rule often sounds like this: never lend what you cannot calmly afford to release. If you truly want to help, give what you can give without chains. If someone asks for 5,000 and you can bless them with 1,000 as a gift, that may be the cleaner path. That gift can be honest, clear, and free. No shadow, no monthly tension, no silent anger, no awkward holidays, no fake smiles over unpaid promises. A clean gift can create peace where a loan often creates poison. Of course, every situation is different and wisdom matters, but many people are not ruined by being too unkind. They are ruined by being too entangled. They keep attaching their money to people with no structure, no discipline, no urgency, and no real plan. Then they wonder why their own life feels stuck, because your resources were meant to move with clarity. They were not meant to be dragged through endless excuses while you pretend everything is normal. If you must help, help cleanly. If you must say no without shame. If you must protect your finances, do it before resentment enters the room. Because once money and emotion are twisted together, even strong relationships can bend under the strain. And that is what many people learn too late. They were trying to save the relationship by saying yes, but that yes became the very thing that slowly damaged it. Now let's talk about the people-pleasing trap, because this is where the real battle often lives. Most people do not lend these things because they deeply believe it is wise. They lend them because they hate disappointing others. They fear looking selfish. They fear being judged. They fear that one honest boundary will make them seem cold, arrogant, or unspiritual. So they betray their own peace to keep their image soft. But listen to me. A person with no boundaries is not more loving. They are simply easier to use. Boundaries are not cruelty. Boundaries are structure. Boundaries are the walls that keep good things safe long enough to grow. A house without walls is not generous. It is exposed. A kingdom without gates is not humble. It is unstable. A life without clear lines becomes an open field for other people's emergency, disorder, and entitlement. Then the person who worked hard, prayed hard, saved carefully, built slowly, and protected little by little starts leaking power in every direction. Not because they are cursed, but because they never learned how to say one holy word. No. No to the guilt trip. No to the manipulative emergency. No to the smiling pressure. No to the habit of treating your private resources like public property. If that sounds sharp, good. Sharp things cut confusion, and some of you do not need another soft sentence. You need a clean break from the old habit of sacrificing your peace every time someone asks for access. Your life will not get stronger until your no gets stronger. That is the truth. And if you have already lent these things out, do not panic, but do not act like it is nothing. Reset the object. Reset the space, reset yourself, clean the car, wipe the tools, clear the desk, put things back in order. Let your hands touch your property again with intention, not irritation. Use your own rhythm to reclaim the atmosphere. Sit in the car alone for a moment. Drive somewhere purposeful. Use the laptop for focused work, not random scrolling. Pick up the tool and create something useful, something clean, something productive. In simple words, re-imprint your own pattern on what belongs to your life. The first use after return matters more than people think. Do not let the object drift. Bring it back under your order, and mentally release the resentment too. Because if you clean the thing but keep replaying anger in your mind, part of the disturbance stays. Learn the lesson. Adjust the boundary. Reclaim the object. Move on. The goal is not fear. The goal is stewardship. The goal is not superstition. The goal is awareness. There are some things that should remain close to your own hand because they are woven into your direction, your output, and your provision. Treating them casually creates friction. Treating them with care creates strength. This is one of those quiet laws that does not look dramatic, but once you start applying it, your life begins to feel more contained, more stable, more clear. And clarity is expensive. Do not give it away cheaply. You also need a practical way to say no without turning every conversation into a personal drama. The easiest way is to create a policy, not an excuse. A policy. I have a rule. I don't lend out my vehicle. I have a personal policy. I keep my work tools private. I don't do personal loans, but I can suggest another option. That language matters because it is calm, clear, and not emotional. It does not attack the person. It simply reveals the structure. People argue with personal rejection. They struggle more with a steady rule. A policy protects your peace because it removes the decision from the emotional moment. You are not standing there under pressure trying to invent courage in real time. The courage was already built when the policy was made. That is powerful. Make your rules before the next request comes. Decide now what is off limits. Decide now what is sacred in your house, your work, your finances, your movement. Do not wait until someone is smiling at your door and your guilt is awake. Build the boundary before the test arrives, because a decision made in advance is stronger than a boundary invented in panic. And yes, some people will not like it. Let them not like it. A person who only respects you when you're easy to use is not upset about your change in character. They are upset about their loss of access. Learn that difference and your whole life will become quieter. Look around your space now, even if only in your mind. Identify your power vessels, the things that carry your effort, the things that hold your schedule, your movement, your focus, your craft, your resources. Mark them inwardly as protected. Not because you worship objects, but because you respect what they support. Your vehicle supports your path. Your tools support your calling. Your money supports your future choices. These things are not to be thrown into disorder just because someone asked with a smile. The moment you begin treating your life like something sacred, other people begin to feel that line even before they ask. Your energy changes, your presence gets firmer, your home feels less open to random demands, and something beautiful happens. You stop leaking, you stop scattering, you stop waking up wondering why your mind feels tired before the day even begins. Your force starts staying with you. Your resources move with intention. Your objects feel more like allies again, not like tired extensions of everyone else's emergency. This is how real strength starts to form, quietly, repeatedly, through small acts of wise protection. So be generous, yes. Be kind, yes. Help when it is right. Bless when you are moved. But do not confuse access with love. Do not confuse lending with virtue. And do not hand away the vessels of your life so easily that your own future has to compete with the residue of other people's chaos. Guard your path. Guard your tools. Guard your money. Guard your peace. And let your kindness flow from wisdom, not from fear,